The comedies of our mind. It's one of my favorite phrases that Gary Craig used in his original EFT training videos. And what he was talking about with the comedies of our minds is those thoughts, those beliefs that live inside of our head, that when we say them out loud, when we drag them into the light of day and we look at them, we recognize how silly, how farcical, how much of a comedy they are. The problem is when they live in our subconscious mind, they drive the way we respond to the world. And so this week, we're going to talk about how I have learned how to get these comedies out of my mind into the world and then be able to transform them. This is Monterastelli, and welcome to the Tapping Q&A podcast recorded live today from Williamsburg in Brooklyn. This is episode 624, originally aired August 14th, 2024. Hi, everyone. I hope this finds you well wherever you are and whatever time of day you get a chance to listen to this. Thanks for spending a little time with me today. This week's podcast actually came about because of a client session I did recently. I was working with a client, and she was not taking an action that she wanted to take. And so we were using some tools and we were poking around like we do in a session to figure out what the root cause of that resistance was. And so we used a couple of tools, and I'll actually share them with you before we're done here, to be able to uncover what that piece of resistance was. And as she was saying the resistance out loud, she interrupted herself. She's like, why am I saying that? I know that that's not true. And so we're constantly caught in this circumstance where there are these thoughts and these beliefs that exist in our subconscious mind that are driving us. But if we get a chance to transform them, then they don't do that. But we have to identify them and we have to understand them before we do that. Now, once we've identified them, my favorite way of transforming them is through tapping. If you are new to tapping, all you need to do is go to learntotapping.com. It is a tool that I use all of the time with my clients. I use it daily for myself. All you need to do is follow the little red arrow in the upper right-hand corner. That will take you to learntotap.com. You'll learn all of the basics, so it'll be super, super easy for you to use the tool that we're going to be talking about today to help you to clear those minds, those stories in the subconscious mind that are dogging you. Before we can actually go in and transform these thoughts, I think it's important that we understand what is going on, which will lead to an analogy that I use to understand what is going on, to a tool that helps us to transform what is going on. So this is what happens, is we like to think that we are rational beings and we are processing with our conscious mind and we are making good choices as we navigate the world. And there are times in which we are making conscious choices. But before our conscious mind has an opportunity to assess what is going on, everything that we are experiencing is processed through our subconscious mind first. Because our subconscious mind is the place that has all of the patterns of how the world works. And it's able to respond where it takes in information and responds really, really quickly to what is going on. As I'm walking across the street, I hear an engine revving, and I don't think about, there's an engine, something must be going on there. Subconscious mind goes, ooh, engine revving, fast car, look out. And so I'm processing what is going on very, very quickly. I'm not thinking about what is going on. The same is true when people walk in. Someone I like comes in, I immediately light up. Someone I don't like walks in, I'm immediately defensive. I'm not thinking, oh, this is my colleague from work who has been undermining me. I need to be on my guard. Because there is a pattern, there's a story that's written in my subconscious mind, and it's basically input in, input out. It takes the data of what is going on and it responds to it so that we can navigate what is going on in the world. And so what that means is whatever stories we are carrying in our subconscious mind are going to dictate our response if there is something that is dangerous around us before we get a chance to consciously think about it. And again, this is good. If I'm facing danger, I don't want to be consciously processing if there is danger or not. I want to be moving. The car is coming at me. I don't want to be assessing the type of car it is. I want to get out of the road. And so it's a natural defense mechanism. The problem is we carry so many stories in our subconscious mind that are not true. They're disproportionate or they're misinformed. They're disproportionate. If I do this and it goes wrong, the world is going to end. That's disproportionate. It's misinformed. If I do this, everybody in my life is going to hate me. Now, they might not like the choice I made, but it is unlikely if I change my job, everybody in my life is going to hate me. But because the subconscious mind is the one that gets the opportunity to act at this first, it makes it hard for us to consciously choose away from that because the subconscious mind is the driver. That's one of the reasons why we love tapping so much. Tapping is one of the few tools that allows us to go into the subconscious mind and rewrite those stories. When you're tapping and you're doing a reframe, what you're doing is you're bringing more information to it. Again, if my subconscious mind thinks, if I change my job, everybody's going to hate me, when I'm tapping, I'm like, I recognize the fact, if I change my job, some people might be disappointed in me because they really wanted me to have this career, and I also know they like me for who I am. Like, I'm bringing information to the subconscious mind, and the tapping allows us to rewrite that story in the subconscious mind. That's the reason why bumper stickers and hang in there posters with little kitty cats on them don't create transformation. We actually have to do something that creates the change to the subconscious mind. The tapping allows us to do that. And so we're now in this circumstance where we have this information in our subconscious mind that is driving us, that is acting beforehand. And when we say that information out loud, we have responses like my client, I can't believe I'm saying that. I know it's not true. But the problem is that when it's in the subconscious mind, we don't have direct access to it or we can't see it. So this is the stupid, and I mean this is dumb, this is the stupid analogy I like to think about as I'm doing this particular work. I imagine between my conscious mind and my subconscious mind, there's this giant brick wall. And so the conscious part of me that is trying to see what is going on in the world can't see through that brick wall. But if I'm able to get the things from my subconscious mind out of my mouth, I give it words and I say it, all of a sudden it's right in front of me and my conscious mind can now see it and analyze it. And again, it's a really, really stupid analogy, but it's the comedies of our mind. The moment we say them out loud, we realize how farcical they are. I can't believe I think that. I know it's not true. But we don't say that until we engage with it in a way that our conscious mind can see it. And so when I am working with my clients, there's a couple of ways that I do this to get it out loud so we can start to analyze it. And these are things that you can do on your own when you are tapping. So if you're in a circumstance where you want to take an action and you're not taking it, so there's some resistance to taking that action, what you do is I want you to imagine yourself taking that action. And then as you imagine yourself taking that action, notice the resistance that you are feeling. Is it tightness in the chest? Is it butterflies in the stomach? Does it feel like it's a wall in front of you? It doesn't matter how you experience that chattery brain, but tune into the resistance. And so now that you have the resistance, you're going to ask the resistance 2 questions, and you're going to answer the questions out loud. The first question is, resistance, what are you afraid of? And so the tightness in your chest, the butterflies in your stomach are going to start to speak what it is. And I know that sounds crazy because the butterflies in your stomach can't talk because butterflies can't talk. But if you do this, it's going to create a translator for your subconscious mind. And so your subconscious mind is going to start to speak out loud what it's actually afraid of. If I switch jobs, everybody's going to hate me. And then the second question is, hey, resistance, what proof do you have that this is true? Now, sometimes there's going to be proof. When I switched jobs last time, there was a lot of pushback. And sometimes there's not truth. But it doesn't matter. We now have information that is no longer hidden from our conscious mind by that brick wall that's separating the subconscious and the conscious mind in my dumb analogy. But the words are out in the open. And I now have an opportunity to respond to them. And so now as I'm tapping, I'm able to say, my subconscious mind believes this, and this is the thing that I know is true. My subconscious mind believes that, but this is the thing that I know is true. And so I'm gently getting a chance to reframe it, because the moment it's said out loud, I recognize how silly or overdramatic it is, and I get to respond to that. So this is the way that I use this tool when I'm tapping. But I've actually taken it a step further, because I recognize the fact that I am responding to things in my subconscious mind all day long that are small things, not big things, like I'm not taking this big action, but I'm a little distracted or I'm eating the wrong thing or whatever is going on. And so what I've taken to is I've taken to narrating my life out loud. Now, I live by myself, which allows me to do that without any embarrassment. I live in New York City. If I'm doing it as I'm wandering around the city, if I'm talking to myself, I'm like the ninth weirdest thing on the street corner, so it's not that big of a deal. But what I start doing is I start describing everything that I'm doing. I'm sitting down at my desk right now so I can clean up my inbox so I can respond to my clients. So I'm saying what I'm doing, I'm saying why I'm doing it. I'm sitting down right now because I need to record next week's podcast so that I can share this really good information with my audience and I can cross it off my to-do list so it's not hanging over my head so my editor is in a rush. I am eating Reese's peanut butter cups because I just kind of feel gross right now and I want to feel better, so I'm going to eat some chocolate to feel better. Now you'll notice, two of those examples as I'm narrating, I'm reinforcing why I'm doing something, which actually makes it easier for me to do it. When I say I'm doing this good thing for this valuable reason, I actually lean into it more. But if I'm also narrating the things that are less healthy, I have to confront why I'm doing them. And sometimes when I say I'm eating these Reese's peanut butter cups because it'll make me feel better, I eat them. And sometimes I say I'm eating them to make me feel better, but instead I'm going to tap for a few moments instead to see if that will make me feel better. And then I can still eat the chocolate if I want to. And so by narrating every single thing that I'm doing as I'm walking through my day and saying why I'm taking those actions, it immediately starts to reveal the story that the subconscious mind is engaging with and bringing it out so my conscious mind can see it and I can evaluate whether or not it is useful for me in this moment and if I want to think something else. Now, I recognize that is a silly thing to recommend you to do. I recognize the fact that it feels really weird to talk out loud to yourself all day long as you are doing stuff. And I can tell you firsthand, it makes a difference. I make more thoughtful choices. I make more deliberate choices. I make less emotional choices. And the more I do it, the more my conscious mind is engaged in every single action that I'm taking, which means I'm more likely to be happy with what is going on. So you can introduce this into your tapping. There's something I'm resisting. Ask the resistance, what's it afraid of? What proof does it have? Say all of that stuff out loud and then respond to all of that stuff out loud as you tap. As you navigate your day, every single task that you're doing, just say, this is what I'm doing and this is why I'm doing it. And sometimes it's functional. I'm blowing my nose because my nose is running. There's no emotion to that. Sometimes I am working on a podcast because it serves my audience and it builds my reputation. There's value to that. And sometimes I'm doing it to solve a problem that isn't really a problem, but by saying it out loud, it will make a difference. So this is the way I have found it is so much easier to get clarity about what is in my subconscious mind. So it is not driving all of my actions and I'm making more thoughtful, deliberate choices from my conscious mind. If you know someone in your life who could appreciate this, be our ambassador, pass it along. Yes, this is a silly concept and it is odd to send someone a note saying, hey, I got this resource that's going to tell you to talk out loud all day. But you might know someone in your life who could appreciate something like this, and reaching out to them will make their day better. Even if they don't consume this in any way at all, the simple fact you're saying, hey, I think your day can be better and I hope it is, their day is going to be better. It's cheesy to say, but you know it's true and I know it's true. It really does make a difference in the world. As you look at the screen right now, you can see the playlist of all the podcasts here on the YouTube channel. Click on that playlist, go check out another resource, and I look forward to talking to you and tapping with you again real soon. Bye-bye.